Recent study by the Department of Health and Human Services says seniors cannot afford the health care they need as they grow older. It's a scary situation.
Yeah, joining us on the KOGO News Live Line, managing partner at PCS Advisers, Paul Seegert. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So tell us what's going on here. What's happening?
Well, we have seniors in this country who are folks that are 65 plus that are spending more than $20 billion a year from their savings to pay for health care, and yet we still have more than 10% of them in any given year that are putting off treatment or not taking medications for serious conditions because they cannot afford them.
Why is this happening?
Well, we've got a healthcare industry that we've essentially allowed to self-regulate through the power of lobbying, and it's really mostly boils down to the cost of prescription drugs for our seniors and for lots of people, seniors especially. And the average senior now has to have set aside $300,000 just for healthcare costs and retirement, not including care facility costs if they end up needing to go into a care facility, which many will. So we've allowed the drug industry to inflate the cost of drugs. We pay wildly more than any other country for the very same prescriptions, many of which are made right here in this country or certainly by U.S. companies.
So how are seniors who are just getting by on Social Security, how are they managing, or are they?
Well, many are not. I mean, that's their biggest fear when they're polled, is that they will not be able to afford their health care costs, and a growing number cannot. And if they're just going down to the corner, pharmacy, a retail pharmacy, and pulling out their insurance card, they aren't really able to effectively consume like they can any other product and service. If they want to buy a TV, they can shop and find out where can I get the best price. That's difficult to do today, and the system is made on purpose to make that difficult. So it's a tough nut to crack. We need to create a lot more transparency in the system and give them the power, and give all the consumers in this country the power to consume healthcare like they do other goods and services.
Why is it that this has gone so out of control and so in the favor of insurers and drug makers? I mean, is this strictly a congressional issue with a congressional answer?
Well, for a system-wide answer, it's going to require action on the part of Congress. We don't ever seem to see the political will for that to happen, regardless of which party is in power, because of how powerful and successful lobbyists are. I mean, you look at this transparency rule that kicked in January 1 of this year, where hospitals are supposed to be publishing their pricing for 300 common procedures, which sounded really good when it was announced. And then when it gets into implementation and lobbyists get involved, and you see how these rules get implemented. In this particular example, the maximum fine for a hospital that doesn't comply with the transparency rule is only $300 per day, and they have oftentimes multi-billion-dollar balance sheets. $300 is literally nothing to these hospitals. So now, when you fast forward to today, 10 months later, only 6.5% of hospitals are complying with the order, and that's the kind of what we're up against in our country, is that we have a very powerful portion of our economy now, a fifth of our economy, that we don't seem to see the political will to solve.
You said in our country. Have other countries figured this out?
Well, we seem to subsidize the cost of drugs for the rest of the world. The drug companies drug companies being one of the biggest challenges, or drugs. We create 70 or 80% of the global profits for the drug industry. Our consumers provide that for them, and then other countries don't allow it. So they'll at a country level perhaps negotiate with the manufacturers and the pharmacy benefit managers to say, look, we're not going to pay more than X for this drug, and then they can, increase the price here and make up the difference on our consumer. That should not be allowed.
All right. Managing partner at PCS Advisors, Paul Seegert. Thanks for your time, Paul.